The first thing that I would say is, like, my parents, like, obviously, like, there would be no me without them, but at the same time, like, I think only now that I'm so far into my artist journey do I realize that both of them being entrepreneurs, like, me growing up really modeled for me that I could do something independently with myself. So, like, my mom owned a Chinese restaurant all through my childhood, and watching her run the restaurant and be the boss and, like, have to, like, run a staff, but also run a restaurant and, like, have relationships with customers, and just watching her navigate that. And, to your earlier conversation about being Asian American, like, my mom completely fish out of water being a Chinese American woman, like, with English as her second language and being also a successful businesswoman. She had to deal with a lot of racism and a lot of, like, prejudice in a certain sense, and just navigate it and smile through it to keep the customers and keep it popping and keep it moving. And just watching her navigate those spaces, like, I think really informed the way in which, like, I feel like I, in my artist journey, code switch and find myself in different circumstances, and how to navigate it and how to, like, leverage opportunities. And then my dad, like, really, like, he was also an entrepreneur as well, and he specialized in playground construction. And it's like his spirit, like, he is so passionate about his work. Like, he loves, like, building playgrounds for kids to, like, have, like, memorable childhoods and memorable childhood memories. And, like, that, the heart that he put into his business, which was not an easy business and was very subject, like, the recession, like, in 2008, like, almost took the company out, and, like, it was not an easy go. But at the same time, his passion for what he does, I mean, he turned 75 last year, and he's still, like, working full time. Like, he's so passionate about what he does. And I mean, he kind of wants to retire, but at the same time, I think he just doesn't, he's like, this is my purpose. This is, like, what I do. And this is what I've done. So I'm really thankful to both of them. I'll say the second thing, to keep it really real. And I just wanted to be honest about this because we are having a lot of conversations about, like, student loans and, like, debt forgiveness. But I was lucky enough to go to Seattle University on a full ride scholarship. I got my entire tuition paid for, including room and board. And if I had not had that opportunity, it's so unlikely that I would have been an artist, because I feel like not having student debt really allowed me to take the risk and not, I think that, like, student debt totally hampers, like, people's aspirations. And it really is, again, like, these systems by design that are designed to keep us down, right? And I think, like, actually, and I meant to say this earlier when you were talking about, like, should people move to Los Angeles? I think that, like, it's a tough city to live in, like, emotionally, but it's also a tough city to live in financially. And a lot of people just move thinking that money's gonna, like, fly into their face right when they touch down, and they really fuck themselves, and people get, like, real broke real quick. And LA fucking sucks to be in when you're broke. And I think, like, a lot of people just, it's hard to manage your finances. And it's also just, like, that psychological weight of debt. Like, even when I've got slipped into credit card debt, like, in my adulthood, it just feels like shit. And we carry that weight, and we carry the weight, especially of artists. We're so focused on our craft that sometimes we let the financial slip, or we don't make smart decisions about how we're investing our money. And that can just be this thing that haunts you forever, and it totally keeps back your creative inhibitions. So I think just, like, learning, just, like, having no student debt off top, and then also learning, like, this is the first year where I've, like, gotten QuickBooks, and I'm actually just, like, getting on point with my finances. And I think it's really, like, lifted a psychological burden off of me to feel like things are handled. And then the last thing I'll say is I actually worked with a creative coach a couple years ago when I was feeling, like, really, really stuck. Like, I knew I wanted to do the solo album, but I, like, was so overwhelmed and so in my head about how to make it happen. So I, like, took the leap, and I invested some money into working with a creative coach, and she really had me confront, like, my addiction to external affirmation, which I think is, like, completely agitated by social media and how easy it is to feel like a number of likes is equated to, like, how valued you are in society. It's just, like, it's the most simplistic numbers, but we build these narratives around it because it's the easiest thing to point to. And I think, like, for me, what I realized success is cultivating internal affirmation. So how am I creating that wellspring of affirmation within myself, so that I'm not looking to social media, or I'm not looking to the compliments of others and, like, trying to fish for opportunities, and really understanding that my success is contingent on developing the momentum within myself and not waiting for other people to tell me I did well or invite me into the room. It's like, I have to create my own rooms. I need to create my own opportunities. And so, yeah, really understanding what internal affirmation is, and understanding that that's the only, like, sustainable path towards even defining success for yourself. Instead of, like, if you, and I've been saying this, but, like, if you let other people define what a win is, you're always going to lose. So, like, how are you doing the work to define what a win is, and then working towards that versus trying to win in other people's eyes.